Labyrinth. It's one of my favorite games. It's sort of a proto-coin. But if you're anything like me, and you have to play the game solitaire sometimes, you're probably very used to the flowcharts that come with the game. There is a way to play this game single player, but there's a flowchart that you follow for the artificial intelligence of the jihadist side that kind of gets a little bit tedious after a while. I'm not a huge fan of flowcharts or anything like that, and as much as I like to play the game, I hate feeling worn out by the flowchart. Well, Enter the Dragon, which is this iPad app that just came out. There's a beta app, it's in beta, it's not generally released, that does all the calculation for the jihadist side for you. So you set up the board, click along with the app, follow the app's instructions about what you do on the board, and then you can play your turn as the Americans without having to think about what the jihadists have done. It's really kind of amazing. It's really a fantastic app. I think it's really a great combination of technology and the physical board setup. So after this, I'm going to do a couple turns, and I'll come back with final thoughts about why I think this is so amazing. Okay, just to get things started, I'll show you how the app looks. This is not going to look great on the camera because it's recording a screen at a different frame rate than it's recording, but this is what it looks like. It's the Labyrinth AI. You get to choose the length of the game, 1, 2, or 3 decks. You choose the scenario. You choose the jihadist ideology, which is basically the difficulty level for the AI. And then you have info, settings, and you can play. So we'll hit play. Gives you the map of the world, which are the push pins represent the different countries, and they're different colors depending on how they look on the board at the start of the game. So red is poor, green is Islamist control, blue would be good, etc., etc. It gives you the country that you click on. It sort of breaks it down over here. It shows you the activity or action log of the AI, and this is the US hand over here. Otherwise, it looks exactly like the board. The only thing that's different is that the map itself is these push pins instead of the country names. You have the US hand over here. I mentioned these are the jihadist cards. This button plays the jihadist action turn. This one is play US, this one is sort US hand, and this one is start a new game or give up or whatever. So that's it. Let's see how this thing works. All right, guys, so let's look at what a couple turns look like, or maybe 1 or 2 turns anyway. So the app is a companion app that plays the flow charts of the game instead of having the player read through what's actually going to happen. So everything there is computerized, and everything that it's going to do is done through the iPad. You set up the board exactly the same, just because it gives you a better perspective than the app does itself. So you set up the board with everything is normal. This is the let's roll setup, the usual setup. You don't need the cards. So this huge pile of cards that are in the game, you don't actually need, because the cards are kept in the app. So the hands of the players are shown on the app. You don't need to take out the cards. So you can put these away. So that's the number one kind of change. It makes setup of the board a lot easier because everything is tracked on the app. The board is really just sort of a physical, easy to understand manifestation of what the game is actually going to do. So it plays exactly the same as it does solitaire. The only difference is that this thing is going to control every bit of AI that goes on the board. So it's the first turn, it's the jihadist start the turn. So you hit the jihadist button. It says it's thinking, and it's going to play the door to it jihad was closed, which is the 3 jihadist card. So because of that, it's going to run through the things. It tells you what it does, and it shows you a little picture on the screen. It's going to Islamist rule with cells less than 2 times the ops, which is Afghanistan. So it's following that rule correctly. So it puts 1 cell into there with one of its ops. You hit next. It does the same thing, recruiting Islamist rule with cells less than 2 times the ops. 2 times the ops is 6, and there's 5 cells there. So another cell goes into Afghanistan. You hit next, and it's going to initial test. It tests Yemen. It rolled the dice. It got 1, so it is poor. So you take this guy. You find Yemen on the map. And it goes there. And that's it for that card play. Oh, and then it radicalized. This is what it's doing. It's radicalizing a cell to Yemen. That's why I tested it. It tells you that. It just takes a little bit of hitting through a couple times to tell you. So the first step of radicalization on the flowchart is a cell to a random country. It shows Yemen. It tested it, turned it into poor, and then it puts a cell into it. And then you hit done. And that's the first card played by the jihadist side. It gives you a nice little recap of what it did. In case you missed it, you can sort of scroll through this little action log. It'll tell you what happened. You hit the next button. It does it again. It played the Iran card. The Iran card is a neutral 2 card. It's going to try minor jihad in Pakistan. Oh, because it's playing the event. So it is if jihadists make 2 jihad rolls in a country, You select and test a Shia mixed country. They chose Pakistan. They rolled 2 dice. Both of them were 4s, so both of them failed. All right, and the second part of a neutral card is after it does the event, it does its ops. So it played the card event, which was the jihad in Pakistan. It's doing the ops now. Its initial test is in Algeria, Tunisia, and it got a fair. Algeria, Tunisia, which is here. So we put that guy down. You hit next. Put a cell there. It's radicalizing. Radicalization, now it's doing travel with the second op. And it tells you what it does. Travel from Afghanistan to Pakistan. So one of these cells goes here and goes there. Then you hit done, and that's the end of that turn. So on the app, you can click on the push pins of the countries, and it'll tell you what the country should look like at that point. So if you ever get behind, you can sort of double check that you're actually doing everything, because you can't kind of get caught up in maybe not paying as much attention to the board as you are to the app. It gives you a way to double check that. So the next thing is it goes to the US player's turn. The US player can scroll through their cards and they can organize their cards to come up in a certain order if they think that that's ideal. I'm just going to play really quickly. I'm going to play Saddam Captured, which is a US 2 card. It gives me 2 operation points. So with these op points, I'm going to try to War of Ideas in the Gulf state. I hit the War of Ideas button on the app. I select that I am in, what did I say, the Gulf states? I'm in the Gulf states, War of Ideas. I have a 0 roll modifier, so it does the math for you. I'll hit commit. I got a 4, which is a modified roll of 4, and I get aid in that one. So I take the aid marker, put it in the Gulf states, hit the X to clear that card. Now I'm on to my second turn here. So we're here in terms of game state. I'm going to do UN nation building. I'll just play it real quickly. It's a 2-op US card. I'm going to try to War of Ideas the Gulf states again because we have that aid modifier. It says we have a modifier of 1. I hit the button. I rolled a 6, modified to a 7, so it succeeds. So Gulf states turned good, like that. The aid goes away. It shows you that on the printout here. And then that's it for the US turn. There are no plots to resolve. It does that. It says that on the screen. There's none on the board. So you go there, back to here. At this point, you can double check the score markers. I haven't adjusted those, so you can check the app. Just by going here, I can tell that good resources should go to 3, fair good goes to 4, and this goes to 5. So that should match what's up there, and all I did was read it off the screen. So it's keeping track of all that stuff for me. We'll do 2 more jihadist turns. Okay, so we're up to the first card of the second jihadist turn. They're playing Kazakh Strain, which is an unplayable jihadist event. It shows in text that it's red, which means that it can't be played. So the AI is going to do ops with the event. What they did is the first thing they're going to choose to minor jihad in Pakistan. It failed. They rolled a 3, they needed a 2. This cell goes away, goes back up to here. You can verify that the cells are correct. So that's that. The second thing it does is it is going to do minor jihad in Algeria, Tunisia, which is over here. It failed again. It rolled a 6, needed a 2. This cell goes back to the start. You're done. And that is it. It gives you the printout again of what it's done. You can verify that the amount of cells are correct. I see 4 on the app. There's 4 up there and then 5 in the second box. That all looks good. You can play the second card now, which is Hambali, which is a 3 neutral card. So they play the card for ops. It's an unplayable neutral event. Recruiting Islamic regime, Islamic rule with cells less than 2 times the ops. It's a 3, so because we moved the cell out of there, Afghanistan gets a cell, like so. You hit next. They're recruiting in a non-Islamic rule, non-regime change country, which is Yemen. The roll failed, so they are stuck with that there. They rolled a 6, they needed a 3. And they tried it again, they rolled a 4, and nothing happened. Again, they tried it in Yemen. Just again, reading all of this off the app. So that's it. That is how the AI works. You just do everything on the iPad, follow the instructions, do what it tells you to do, and then you put it out on the board so that's easy to manage and easy to understand. All right, let's go to what I think about this. So I really love this app. I think this is like a fantastic little idea. I'm assuming that this has been done before, that there are games that use apps in a similar way to control what's going on the board, but what I hate about playing board games on apps is that the screen space is limited to the point where you can't really tell what's going on. If you've ever played like Le Havre on the iPad, You know what I'm talking about. It's not very intuitive. It's not easy to learn the game that way. And it's also impossible to tell what the other players have because it's much easier to see a physical board layout and have to easily come to an understanding of how the board state is and what you need to do. It's a lot harder to do that on apps. So that's the reason I don't like them. The other thing about solo board gaming that I really hate is I hate having to spend most of my energy trying to figure out what the AI or the opponent is supposed to do. There's no real easy way around this. I know that Labyrinth and the Coin series have come up with sort of flow charts about what you're supposed to follow, and that I'm sure if you play it enough, you'll get used to what the rules are, what things are going to do. You probably might not even need the flow charts. You probably need to play the game all the time to get to that kind of level, though, and I don't think anyone really does that. What the app is genius about is that it takes all of that burden and it removes it. Everything in this app is done on the app, and you can then put it out on the board and you follow along. It makes it a lot more enjoyable to see the board and how it laid out. It's a lot easier to read it that way. But the app is tracking everything that's going on. So you don't spend all of your time digging through the flow chart, which is included here in the game. Not that the flow chart is super difficult. It took me a little while to get into it to understand what it would do. You can get it down. It's just why bother? This is why we have iPads and things like that. This is why computers are around, because they do these kind of calculations much faster than we'd have to. It doesn't wear you out going through the process all the time to the point where solo gaming, to me, especially solo gaming, these kind of games, feels more tedious than anything. It feels like you spend more time just sort of following rules than you do actually playing the game. This fixes all that, and I really love it for that. There are a couple problems. It is in beta, if I didn't mention that at the start. It's in beta. It has a problem right now. The most obvious one is that the leak card, which is the jihadist event, has a game-killing bug in it where it can't proceed if the jihadist player plays it, because it says that the event is happening even when it's not, and then it kind of gets stuck in a loop where it's like, well, I want to play this event, but it's impossible to play the event, so what do I do? The developer said that he'd been fixing the leak AI recently, though, and so maybe something came out of that, but he's going to fix that. That's the only thing I noticed. Going through a couple times, not step by step because that seems crazy to me, but checking the flow chart every once in a while, everything seemed to work nicely. It followed the rules in here. It probably clarified a couple things in the solitaire for me, so if the rule is not wrong, it certainly is enlightening to me about how the game is actually supposed to be played. So that's been good. It's huge. I really love this. I think it's a fantastic thing. Can't praise it highly enough. I hope more games go down this. The coin games would be awesome to have something like this. Really, really fantastic. Best of both worlds. The best use of technology with board gaming that I can think of. And it makes me want to play Labyrinth a lot more, which is always a positive, right? So that's it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. You should contact the BGG thread where this is posted if you're interested in trying out the app and everything. I'll put a link down in the description below. Check it out. It's awesome. I highly recommend it. See you.